I just finished. I'm gonna need to read this off the screen because it has a long title. Masuda Kosuke Gekijo Gag Manga Biyori. Uh, this is, as the title suggests, a gag manga adaptation. Gag manga Biyori was a gag manga that ran in Shonen Jump. So a pretty big gag manga, like Shonen Jump, I think is the biggest anime magazine. Uh, so in Japan, and this show is interesting because it seems to have a pretty big internet presence in Japan, or it did have in 2005 when it aired, or around that time. It seemed to be pretty well received in Japan, but these types of shows, these gag manga shorts, never get the appreciation they deserve in the West. On Mouse only has 2,675 users. This It's a super fast paced, super absurdist comedy, uh, wacky, crazy situations, crazy characters, anthology series. So like every episode is, well, some of them have like two episodes where they share the same setting, but they're mostly like complete separate stories. There's no big overarching story. There's not really any narrative. It's just joke, 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 joke. Like, and if you don't like the Japanese style of comedy, which I know a lot of Westerners can't really get into the Japanese comedy, like feeling, the vibe of Japanese comedy. Uh, this is a very Japanese show. Like there are references to old Japanese folk, not folk tales, but like uh, what's the word? Like old stories, literature, ancient literature, stories about like poets and jokes that only make sense if you like understand Japanese culture. If you so like one of the episodes is entirely centered around the entire comedy comes from someone going into someone's house, uh, who's like socially above them and just being slightly rude to them. Like not super super rude, like pretty rude, but like the sort of thing that wouldn't be that funny. Like it wouldn't make any sense to be played as a joke. But in Japan, it makes sense because it's like you go into your master's house. It's a master and a student, uh, and you're supposed to act so politely, and he's not acting politely, and it's funny, and comedy arrives. But this is like super cheap, on the cheap animated, like but it serves the purpose well. You know, it's like it's funny. It visually is hilarious. The faces, the extreme warped faces of characters are consistently hilarious. The jokes, not every episode nails it, in my opinion, but since each episode's only like 3 minutes long, you could easily blast through this series. Now, there is one major problem with this series, which has nothing to do with the show itself, but it's very hard to find this online. I knew this would happen as I got into the more obscure shows on in 2005. I had It's not on. Only the first episode was subbed on uh, on Nine Anime, which is where I mostly stream my anime, and there is no. It's not on Nya. I had to. Fortunately, I have friends in low places. I had to hit up a friend who is deep into torrenting subculture. He looked around on some private trackers he's a part of and managed to find it. I'm gonna see if I can upload it to Nya with the subs. Uh, I don't really know how to do that, but even if I do, there's no guarantee that it will get seeded. I'm not gonna fucking seed it. So, in fact, it probably won't get seeded. So, God knows what's gonna happen there. But I'll see what I can do to try and make this manga more accessible. Maybe I'll even upload it on YouTube on my third channel. No thanks. I probably shouldn't get a copyright strike since it's so obscure, but maybe I will since it seems like it's big in Japan. And I know this because when I later looked it up to do some research. After I finished it, which was about 2 minutes ago, I did this research. I just finished the research. Was that like there's a lot of like some of these videos that have Japanese titles and only Japanese comments. Like for example, one of the, the musical numbers. There's actually like a lot of hold on, I actually need to check so how many there are, but there's multiple seasons of this anime, so I'm assuming the musical number was from like one of the later seasons. Uh, but yeah, like one of them like had like a 1.5 million views, and all Japanese comments. So like clearly that's a pretty big deal. Like clearly this show is known in Japan, and there was also a fan animation where they adapted one of the episodes from the first series. But so they took the same script, but they redubbed it and reanimated the entire thing, so it was Madoka characters, and it all took place inside of Madoka, which is pretty surreal, but really impressive. I mean, those fucking Nico Nico Doga guys, they have some animation talent. Uh, so clearly the show is like, yeah, this type of show just doesn't get the appreciation it deserves in the West. I mean, if you like your shows like Puguru, Take You, Inferno Cop, maybe to an extent, Pop Team Epic, these sorts of things, like this show is for you. It's more of that sort of style, possibly even more surreal with like a slight historical theme, but not really. It gets very surreal at parts, like which is fucking hilarious. It's just some great absurdist comedy. But yeah, there are some, like, not every episode hits. Like, there are definitely some slower episodes that I find less funny. Could be just cultural things. I don't get the references. Also, some of the episodes, like, there's one in particular, uh, they're less focused on being like actual Joker minute funny and more focused on just being weird. Like, there's one episode that's a parody of like racing anime, where there's not really any structured jokes. It's just a generally weird scenario with weird animation, uh, which still ended like super entertaining, but not necessarily the same sort of gag a minute type of setup punchline type of thing. Um, it's very stupid. The entire show is completely full of stupid shit. It's kind of the sort of stuff I love. I find comedies is always underappreciated in every medium. Like, you never see comedies get nominated for, like, this is why they have the separate award category for comedy in the Oscars, and comedies never win Best Picture, even though, like, a great comedy can be as impactful on culture as a great drama or great romance or whatever. Like, we have a cultural stigma against things that make you laugh as something that's unimportant, which I find stupid. But I think one of the reasons for that is that it's really hard to analyze a comedy. Like, if once you start breaking apart, once you start talking in depth about jokes, they they stop becoming funny, and you kind of miss something important when you start doing that sort of thing. So yeah, overall, I would recommend this show if you can fucking find it. Again, I'm gonna see what I can do to make it accessible, but I don't know where you're gonna be able to find it. But yeah, I would definitely recommend it. I'm gonna give it a. I was bordering on a 6 or a 7, just because it's like so short. I feel like and since even with the shortness, some of the episodes didn't hit. I don't feel like it can get higher than a 7, so I'm gonna give it a 7. Let me do that right now on Mal since I have it up. 7, good. Let me find out. I didn't actually check if anyone who worked on this has done anything interesting. The director, Akitaro Daichi. Click. Oh, Akazukin Chara. Bracket test. Fruits Basket director. Huh. Fruits Basket. Or directed. Oh, what the fuck? Directed Now and Then, Here and There? What? Yo, what? This guy directed this like wacky gag manga, fast-paced comedy, and then like the darkest, depressing show of all time. Okay, it's not actually the darkest, but like, you know what I mean. Actually, that kind of makes I can see the main villain of Imasoko ni Iruboko is kind of in the same league. What else has he done? Um, this sounds familiar. He doesn't seem to have a particular style. Oh, he directed Makase Iruka. Magasete Iruka. That sounds familiar. Why do I know that? Is that Squid Girl? Oh no, that's the fucking OVA about the girls working. That's a good OVA. Would recommend Makasete Iruka. Fun, little short-ish OVA. Mayoi Neko Overrun, Miracle Girls, Mushishi storyboard. Interesting. This is the thing. Whenever you find good anime, you can pretty much guarantee that the directors worked on other good things. You should make a habit of doing this sort of thing. Oh, this guy's got pretty. He seems to have done a lot of stuff, but a lot of stuff I haven't heard of. But still, surprising stuff. I did not expect this guy to have directed and the original creator of Now and Then, Here and There. What else have we got here? Episode director, animation director, storyboard. Tanaka, Masayoshi Tanaka. Bleach, Galaxy Angel 3, some in between animation and some various nothing. Character design on Kimi no Nawa. Oh, for the OP. Oh no, for everything. Animation director on Kimi no Nawa. Interesting. People do interesting. Oh, and Eureka 7, key animation and animation director. Mahurab. Oh no, that's Maburaho, not Mahuraba. Mayotome, Mushishi again. You see, people just work together. Might have been just the studio or something. Toradora, Usagi Drop. Interesting. So they've got all these connections. Like this is what I'm trying to say is that just because it's a wacky, silly comedy, surreal, doesn't mean that the people who work on it aren't genuinely talented. Like those are all a lot of like these people have worked on big dramas and the stuff that people generally take to be art or whatever, but also this wacky, stupid comedy, which is great. So yeah, I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10, and keep this review simple. This, there's really not that much to talk about, but also, I've been going way overboard with these reviews lately, so I just want to go back to my roots, just a plain straightforward anime review. So there you go. Masuda Kosuke Gekijo Gaga Manga Biyori.